Hi guys, welcome to a brand new video. As you read in the title of the video, today's my birthday, so yay me, I'm officially a year older, and I'm officially old.
Yay!
But that's beside the point. So usually, especially nowadays that I'm more mature and I'm older, usually whenever someone would ask me, oh, is there anything that you want for your birthday? I would usually tell them, nah, I'm fine. Because I'm usually that type of person that would rather have others be happy in life rather than myself. Yeah, I still find happiness in myself because of as an introvert, I usually try to find happiness in media or things that I enjoy watching on YouTube and stuff, because that's how I get my source of entertainment, right? And sometimes even my source of happiness. Hence, I still love listening to Hatsune Miku, so I listen to her music every now and then to make me smile. But at the same time, too, there are some times when I sort of wish that I could just have things that I want for myself for my birthday, but am too afraid to ask because I feel like it makes me feel selfish whenever I do something like that. If I just request people, hey, is it okay if you guys could get me birthday gifts and stuff? Because it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. But at the same time too, if I do something like that, I feel bad for others because at the same time too, I know that a majority of my friends and family have work. They've all grown up as well and they have their own things that they need to do.
Yes.
For me, I want to compile everything that I have and just give you guys my thoughts, and I sort of have a wish list in front of me right now that I want to have for my own birthday. Of course it's not everything that I want in an instant, but possibly over time, whether it be this year or even next year or even a couple years from now. If I have these in my collection or if I already have these, then I'm sort of satisfied. So what I'm gonna do is list off all the things that I have on my current list at the moment, and I'm gonna call this Ivan's birthday present wish list. So it's gonna be based off of different categories, and you'll understand what I mean. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start things small, and say you could actually go online or in a physical store and purchase these items, right? So these are items that you could actually get, or even if they're out of stock, but there's a good chance that one, they could be restockable, or two, maybe they're just out of service for now, but you could get them in other third parties. You could say for example, eBay, if there's something that you really want. But I'll get to that in a second. So I sort of split into two categories. So one is that what I mentioned, and then the second one I'm gonna bring up is basically the things that aren't in stores or sold online. They aren't things that you can't physically own, or something that I sort of wish that I could achieve or have. But one, it's probably not in development, or two, like I said, it's not being released in stores, or three, it's something very personal, and I'll get to that at the very end and you'll understand the reason why. But without further ado, I'm gonna get myself started in this. Oh, by the way, stick around towards the end of the video because I'm going to be giving you guys a quick update on the shelf behind me, as well as introducing you to two new members of the family. So that's going to be exciting as well. So without further ado, let me get started. So let's start out with the things that I want for physical stuff. And with that, I have what's called updated equipment. So this is the type of things that I'm sort of still researching on what I could do to improve on for future videos. The number one thing that I have is, of course, a camera for podcasts. So right now I'm currently filming on an iPhone 12 Pro, which I think is still doing a very stellar job. But I sort of wish I could upgrade it to either the more current version of the iPhone. So right now I believe it's the iPhone 15. And instead of the Pro, I want the Pro Max, and to get as much storage as I can so that I could actually, hold more storage inside my phone. But at the same time too, if that doesn't work out for me, I also want to have a professional video camera filming in different angles and stuff. And maybe instead of like using like, this camera, maybe have multiple cameras. Like you see me here, and then maybe one person on this side here, and another person on this side here for like different side views. So that you could also have like a tour of my room while we're also holding the podcast, if that sort of makes sense. I also said additional cameras, but it's not for like us for podcasts in generals, but it's for like other things too. Like if I go outside for vlogging stuff, like if I were to go out and maybe like go to like Six Flags or something and I vlog about my trip, I want to have like my own separate camera from using my phone so that I could go ahead and film using that instead. And I also want to get like miniature cameras as well. Excuse me. So what I want to do in the future is that I want to stream myself playing DDR/ITG in the groove. So I could include like a camera like focusing on me, like actually playing the game. Include more equipment to, see like what step chart I'm playing, as well as like have a camera either like overhead or by my feet so you could see like how I'm stepping on the DDR pad and whatsoever. That's sort of like another thing that I want to implement as well. I also want to do camera stands and tripods, because right now I'm currently using a music stand, and I've had this for a while already, ever since like high school, for me practicing the trombone and stuff. But now I currently use it as my stand for the camera. And the thing that's holding my camera right now is a tripod, very small tripod, but it does its job, so. But I want to upgrade to like a more professional camera stand and tripod as well, so it'd be more beneficial. Of course, updated microphone, so instead of like using something like this, have like an actual like maybe like a Rode microphone or something. Have like boom mics maybe. Have it like stand over like the desk and stuff. Maybe you have it propped on the ceiling or whatsoever, so that we could just have the mics down, and then we could just like hold conversations that way. That would be pretty sick. Speaking of which, too, to make it more great for visual representation, I want to update these chairs, specifically mine and Caspen's chair, because, every time when you watch a podcast episode or a gaming video, anytime you see like Caspen's chair, it's been old, it's been so overused. Had it since I believe like the mid-2000s, and I'm still surprised that it's still being used to this day, so. This one is pretty recent though, but I want to upgrade to like gaming chairs, if that makes more sense. Or like more comfortable chairs that look more visual appealing to the eyes as well. While you're like listening to me and Caspen talk, you could go ahead and just like stare at the back of our chairs or whatsoever, if that makes sense. Let's see what else. I have also included like a rotating display stand for like up close shots. Like for example, I want to do a future video where I'm going to be like displaying like the different stuff that I have. Like you guys seen like, if you guys seen like my videos of me talking about like all my video games, all my media collections, all the Game Boy games I have, you have like that zoomed in shot from the table area where you would see like the actual like game or like whatever the media is or whatsoever. But the thing is that I sort of want to include like a spinning element to it, so you're not just like, staring at it. So you have like all side views of it technically. So it'd be cool for like those type of shots as well. Of course, I want to include an Elgato, so in the future when me and Caspen actually do video gaming content, we actually could have like something that we could capture as well, so that we could like use like OBS as well, and like implement like different stuff that we could do for future gaming content. I also want to get like a green screen as well. If it's not going to be like on this side, maybe like on my closet space or whatsoever, something that's like big enough just in case, if we could do like screen effects or whatsoever to make things more interesting for like future videos. Or maybe if we do skits in the future and we involve the green screen, I should say, that would be really cool. I also want to include soundproof foam panels as well. I know my basement is big, really big, I should say, so like the sound bounces everywhere. But if I have like several of these soundproof foam panels, it could be somewhat more helpful so that it's easier to hear in like future videos, and it makes the audio sound more crystal clear. additional tablets or like a PC/laptop for like other purposes. Like for example, if me and Caspen were to implement like streaming in the future, which I hope we do, and I'll get to that like in the very end of this like wish list. I want to use like the current PC monitor that I have right now for like gaming and whatsoever, or if there's like reaction videos that I want to watch. And then on the side, I have another laptop that's just like specifically for like super chats or like the chat or whatsoever in general. Or like have something like prepared on the side just in case, like if I need a script on one side while I have like a game focus, like talking about like something. If that sort of makes sense. But yeah. And then lastly, I have here for the updated equipment extra bins for storage because I tend to like pile things up. And if I have too many stuff, I know things are going to get messy. I'm a person that loves to organize things. So if I have like a perfect bin or like bins in general to like keep things in order, then that would be perfect. That's it for the update equipment. So let me move on to the stuff that I sort of like I'm like actually like hoping to get like physically in my collection are additional game board games / card games that I want. And I'm not going to be presenting anything with me right now because of course I don't physically have it. And by the way, before I forget to mention, if my voice sounds a little raspy or if I'm like coughing or if I'm like clearing out my throat, something's like lodged in my throat, like mucus or like whatsoever. So I'm trying to take care of an illness right now. And hopefully I'm able to get that through before my actual birthday. And by the way, I'm literally filming this a week before my birthday, so I'm going to try to get that out of the way. So I apologize if I sound weird, okay? But I digress. So additional game board games and card games that I want to play, or own in my collection, I should say. So if any of these are familiar to you, then maybe you want to keep this in mind. To give you guys an idea as well, so if you know the channels No Rules Barred as well as Ogzog, these are sort of like my inspirations on the reasons why I want to get these games in the first place, but mostly on No Rules Barred side. Okay, so I have Block Party, Sounds Fishy, Camel Up, this one's really good, Alice is Missing, The Golden Sky Stories, Heat, Pedal to the Metal, Thunder Road Vendetta, Color Brain. I don't know for these couple ones. You could actually get them like Target or whatsoever. Tetris, Plinko, Pac-Man, Tapple, Hook and Ring, Hues and Cues, Magnetic, Fun Facts, Pictures, Wits and Wagers, Cubosity, Anomia, Boulder Dash, Whitehall Mystery, Mysterium, Horrified, Wingspan, Just One, Ghost Blitz, Hanabi, Stratego, Othello, Suro, Loaded Questions, Yogi, Good Face, Bad Face, The Mind, Pick Your Poison, Bad People / Bad Choices / Bad Opinions, and the last one that I have is all Joking Hazard deck enhancements, all except for the first one, as well as the Joking Hazard enlarged box. So of course, like I mentioned, I want to keep things organized in a specific way. But those are all, or a majority of the card games, as well as the game board games that I have. But to expand more on that, I also want to have like an official gaming table. So if you've seen No Rules Barred, it's sort of like that, where I sort of wish I had like that type of layout as like my own table instead of this coffee table that I have right here. So one, we have bigger space and bigger room to deal with, and two, it's going to be a lot easier to maneuver stuff around on the table to keep things nice and organized, especially if I'm going to do like up close shots or whatsoever. That'd be pretty nice. But I also want to include like bigger games so that it would fit on this actual table. Like for example, I have 4 more games that I want to mention. Go, Crokinole, Clask, and Shogi. So all of these are different types of games that are unique in their own specific way, because instead of relying like a game board or like a card game or whatsoever, they actually come in like actual like wooden boards or whatsoever, and they're more like unique in their own style. I know I forgot to include this as well on my list, but I sort of want to bring this up now. But if you guys are familiarized with the Arcade1Up machines, I sort of wish I had one at the moment. With one of my favorites that I've been seeing recently is the Ridge Racer cabinet. Because of course you guys know one of my favorite racing games of all times is Ridge Racer. So I also want to get that in the future one day. Otherwise, if not, then maybe something like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Those are pretty cool cabinets that I wish I could have. But my main priority is Ridge Racer. But not only that, I want to have like a modded version of it so that I could access like not only like Ridge Racer and stuff, but like other different like racing games that I could play on the actual cabinet. Because there's a unique mod that I've seen online where you could play, I believe, like, was it like 100 or even more different racing games, ranging from like PlayStation to PlayStation 2 games, or like even like old classic games, like Mario Kart 64, Ridge Racer in general. They also included like, I think like, what other games did I forgot? For some reason, I know they had Twisted Metal Head On, which is weird, but they have like those type of racing games in general, all packed inside that one mod. And then you could play it on the actual arcade cabinet, and I think that'd be super sick. I know it's gonna cost like over like thousands of dollars, but man, that would be so worth it. I'd love to own something like that. But again, I'll get to like more of like that type of thing in general when I mention towards the end of this wish list. But moving on. Right now I have books on my screen, so from what you see on the side here, or barely I should say, I don't really like reading books as much, but if I were to collect some, they would mostly, if not all of them, be manga related. These are like my hopes that I would get when it comes to like these mangas. So the first one I have is Horrocks Meeting Volume 1, and I know they're on process of making Volume 2, being released in October or September, I think, of this year. As a fan of Hololive, I really want something like that. So I've been seeing it being sold on Amazon too, as well as seeing it on Barnes & Noble as well, which is really cool. Otherwise, continue on. Oshinoko. I really want to have a collection of this as well. The quintessential quintuplets box sets. So everything that they have released, 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You, up to date. A new one that I just found out recently, and the rest of these will be Hatsune Miku related, but this is one that I really want, is because this is actually one Vocaloid song that I actually know from heart, and I could actually sing it on the spot. I just don't want to sing it now because my voice is really raspy and I want to save it for this video. It's Cantarella, Poison of Blue. So created by White Flame or Kurosa P, sung by Kaito and Miku as well. Although if I were to prefer the Cantarella version, there's the original and then there's the Grace Edition. My heart belongs to the Grace Edition because it sounds so lovely. It sounds so weird, but yeah. If you guys listen to it, I'll link it in the description anyways so that you can tell the differences between both of them, but I prefer the Grace Edition. Continuing on, Bad and Night 4. I also need Volume 2 of Hatsune Miku Future Delivery and Hatsune Miku Everyday Paradise from Volumes 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that wraps up all the books. Let's move on to the video game section. So this is actually pretty short, so surprisingly. One that's on top of my list right now is called Pac-Man World Rally for the PlayStation 2. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this is another racing game that's based off of Namco's own Pac-Man. They have it on the PSP, which I used to play it back in the day. And surprisingly, if you play that version, it has more content to it. But I want to try to experience playing it on the actual PlayStation 2, because I think it's just going to be a lot of fun as well. Continue on with that. I have Hatsune Miku Fitness Boxing. So this game isn't released in the United States. It's sold in Japan. But I want to own like a physical copy of the game and actually play it on my own. Just like what I have with Project Diva Future Tone. Future Tone. That's the PlayStation one. Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix. I feel bad, but hey, I'm coming with this on the spot. I don't have a script in front of me. I'm just trying to rely on like what I see on my screen, okay? Next are not technically video games, but it's like video game equipment. Like if I showed you guys in the past, like all of my video game controllers, one of them you might come across was that Taiko no Tatsujin drum controller. To go along with that are my Bachi Taiko drumsticks that you can purchase on Amazon for like 10 bucks. I want like my own pair in general so that I could just not only play on like the little drum set that I have at home, but as well as like the arcade. So I have my official set, so I actually play in like arcades at like round one and stuff, which is pretty cool. But speaking of, I also want to get a brand new controller, not only just for Taiko no Tatsujin with that little drum controller that I have, but I want a Yuan-Con Taiko Force drum controller. So this is custom made and sold for like different like systems in general. Like you could get this for PC, Switch, or the PlayStation 5, or you can get a combination of like two of them or all three of them if you want it, but it's going to cost a little extra. For me, I also want to get this drum, but to have it for PC, Switch, and PS5, so that in case if I need to jump back and forth between several systems playing Taiko no Tatsujin, I could go ahead and do so. This is a very large drum, too. If I'm not mistaken, it's similar to the ones that you see in the arcade. So the problem for me is storage, which is the reason why I don't have it right now. But at the same time, too, I'd be really happy if I have this in my possession. But that's it for the video gaming stuff. So let's move on. I want to move on to Hot Wheels. So to carry on with the Hot Wheels stuff, of course, I want to complete my Mario Kart collection down here as much as possible, be up to date with everything. Besides that, another one that I just recently started, and I've actually sort of collected, and I'm just waiting for more to arrive, but I'm hoping to get more vehicles in the future. This is the Ridge Racer collection. So for the behind the scenes stuff, I'll show you guys. Right below me, I actually updated it with more vehicles from the game, or vehicles that closely resemble towards what they call the machines in the game. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm planning on doing with this one, as well as like the other Hot Wheels collection that I have right below me. So I'll get to those in a bit. But that's it for my Hot Wheels stuff. I want to move on to figurines. So when it comes to figurines, in general, I just want Hatsune Miku as well as Kagemine Rin figurines because, of course, those are my two favorite Vocaloids of all times. And just, like, adding them to my collection would be really nice. Like, I don't know if you guys could see from here, but I have, like, several of them right here. And I think they look absolutely lovely. If I were to include more in my collection, that would be really great. I also want to collect more Nendoroids. Specifically, like, like Hololive, Vocaloid in general, and like other like types of content as well that's like in relation to it too, like video game stuff like Tekken. Maybe if I have like those Tekken Nendoroids, that would be pretty sick. Also, when it comes to like more figurines in general, I want to have more of the Hololive Relax Time figures. So if you ever like pay attention to like the upper part of my shelves, you see that I have Minato Aqua, Hachama, Mel, and then top left side would be Mori Calliope. All of these are Relax Time figures, and I currently only have those, but if I were to include more in my collection, I love to do so, but specifically just the Relax Time figures. But if there was one figurine collection that I would really love to own, these are called the Kotobukiya Bishoujo My Little Pony figures. So what's unique about these is that they have like little figurines of like the My Little Pony characters, and then to coincide with that, they have a anime version of the My Little Pony characters, with my favorite, of course, being Fluttershy. I love to own the Fluttershy one. Now, there's two different versions because you have like one with like regular like human color skin, and then like the pony figure, and then one where it's the same anime figure, style and all, but instead they have like their represented colored skin from the actual MLP show. Like for example, if I were to find Fluttershy, there would one be like a normal skin one, and then another version which her skin would be all yellow because like in the show she's yellow, right? I would rather have like the normal skin looking ones, like the rest of my figurines, to match the collection back here and have like the little Fluttershy figure there. But if there was one that I wish I could have, they actually made one for Hatsune Miku. This is the one that I really want to have in my collection too, besides Fluttershy, obviously. So, but then again, if I get all the main 6, as well as Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, I'd be so happy. That's pretty rare to find nowadays though, but at the same time too, it's pretty nice to own in the future. But if I were to only get 2, it would be the Hatsune Miku one, as well as the Fluttershy one. Those 2 would be my favorites. Moving on to plushies. So for those of you guys who could tell, I'm a huge fan of plushies. I love plushie collecting, and I want to add more to my collection. Specifically, when it comes to these plushies, I have the Sega Hatsune Miku / Kagami Rin plushes. So a majority of the Hatsune Mikus that you see back here, these are what they call the Sega plushies. The jumbo ones that I have on the side here that I showed in the past videos, those are all Sega plushies. Even the keys and the eye ones that I have here, as well as my little Rin, the Miku on the sides, those are all based off of the Sega plush line. Those ones are my favorite. Reason being is that if you know the anime school babysitters, there's a cute baby character in the show named Midori, and it sort of reminded me of that style. So it's like I'm holding like those little babies in my arms, right? That's the reason why, and I just love that design in general. So like any of the Miku collections that I don't have at the moment, or the outfits that I don't have, or modules you could say, I want to include more in my collection so that, one, I can complete it obviously, and 2, stay up to date from what they have. Okay, the second one I have is a Kane plush from the Amazing Digital Circus. So I have Pomni and I have Jax. They still have Kane in stock, but for now I'm broke. So I can't purchase him at the moment, but hopefully down the line I'm able to do so. Sort of just like this. I know this one I could probably get like a knockoff one, because I think the ones that I have here are knockoffs, but it's the Five Nights at Freddy's Golden Freddy plush. So it's weird too, because originally I was supposed to get the Golden Freddy plush along with the other FNAF plushies behind me, but for some reason the order got canceled last second, so I got refunded and stuff, so I'm not able to receive it, so I had to purchase a new one. But ever since the purchase, I felt like I was satisfied with these already, because I already technically have the main 4, and then I have Springtrap. But at the same time too, technically it should be the main 4 and Golden Freddy, which are part of the 5 children in the lore, as they say. And then Springtrap is just like the extra. So I wish I'm able to get that Golden Freddy, but not now, in the future. But if there was another plush line that I really want to get as well, other than the Sega Hatsune Miku ones and the Kagami Rin plushies, it's the Hololive Friends With You plushies. So for the ones that you see behind me, if you could see Muna Hoshinova, Irani Yo 15, and then Ayuna Risu, and then these ones here, Melfisa, Rene's behind me, Ori right here, Kobo, and then Kaela and Zeta right there. These ones. These are the Hololive Friends With You plushies. I think these are straight up adorable, and I really wish that I could have more of these. Specifically, the Japanese members. Well, because here's the thing. If I start collecting the Japanese members, I'm bound to collect all of the members. And it's not just one group in particular. I really just want to get everyone, because I'm that type of person. That's how much I really care about collecting stuff. So if I know if I'm getting one, I need to get all of them. But to be more specific too, and I know this is going to probably be in the future because I know it's in production right now, I really want the Holo Advent Friends With You plushies, so that I could also complete my English set right here. Because in top, I know it's not in current view at the moment, but I have Council / Promise as well as Myth, and I sort of want to complete that by having Advent to the collection. And if I at least have the Hololive Friends With You plush line, that would be perfect. But yeah, those are all the plushies. Let's move on to the content, or home media content, Blu-rays and DVDs and all that stuff. So one of the main animes that I said that I really loved was Cardcaptor Sakura. And surprise, surprise, I actually do not own any media or content in relation to Cardcaptor Sakura. So what I'm hoping to do is to eventually get Cardcaptor Sakura, the complete series by the way. And I know they're separated into 2 Blu Rays, but it's hard to find nowadays if I'm not mistaken. As well as the 2 movies that they have and Clear Card. Because I want to stay up to date, obviously, so. And of course, being one of my favorite animes, if not my favorite anime of all time, yeah, I really want that in my collection. The next one that I have is Oshinoko Season 1 Blu Ray. It's already in stores, in Amazon, I should say. Teasing Master Takagi-san. So seasons 1 to 3 and the movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed season 1. I need to catch up on seasons 2, 3, as well as the movie, but I sort of kept spoiling myself, especially with the movie. But at the same time, too, I love how lighthearted it is and how fun it is overall. So, and plus, one of my seiyus is Rie Takahashi, and she's lovely. I love her. Speaking of, and not just her as well, but quintessential quintuplets, seasons 1 and 2, as well as the movie. So, one of my other favorite seiyus is Miku Ito. And surprise, surprise, you can guess who my favorite character is in quintessential quintuplets. So, another reason why is because I absolutely love that anime too. I've actually seen this one in completion, as well as the OVAs that they had after the movie completed. So I think it was only 2 episodes, but it was really good. And as of this video, they're releasing an updated series where they focus on Futaro as well as the honeymoon arc. So I'm not going to spoil who he ends up marrying at the end, but they continue on with that story, and I cannot wait. So hopefully that turns out very well in the end. Blend S. I really want to have this, but it's hard to find nowadays. Rosario Vampire, the complete series Blu Ray. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and Himoto Maru-chan. Nagasarete Airanto. An old classic favorite of mine, other than Kiss Exes. That was one of my other original first animes that I've seen, as well as Rosario Vampire, which is why I sort of wish I had this on my anime collection. These couple ones are going to be a little odd to some of you guys, but if you recognize these, then all power to you guys. First one is Absolute Duo. I know a majority of the people probably won't recognize what this anime is, or for those of you who don't know, maybe the story's lame or whatsoever, but for some reason, I sort of enjoyed it. I think it's more underrated, but at the same time, too, I sort of like the premise of it. I don't know, there's just something about it. Maybe it's because of the main characters, Yulie and stuff, but I don't know. Here's one that you probably might question, and you thought there was never a girl online. Also, another anime that I've seen in completion. I'm not gonna lie, I also hated it too, but at the same time, it sort of stuck with me for a weird reason. I don't know why. Besides, like, something that happens towards, like, the mid-end portion of the anime, but I'm not gonna spoil it, so I'll keep it as is. Kokoro Connect. Ah, my gosh, I absolutely adore this series. It got really dark towards the latter half of the series, but at the same time too, I mean, it's still pretty light and pretty fun to experience. Like, if you enjoy, like, Bunny Girl Senpai, it's sort of like that, only except with, like, 6 friends, or no, 5 friends, I should say, sorry, and different supernatural abilities, like, happening to each other. And in my opinion, I think it's really cool, especially back in the day. And then this one, I gotta thank Fuwawa for this one too, because it also sparked my interest in it. And plus, I sort of liked this before Fuwawa mentioned this on her debut stream, but this is Yosuga no Sora. Yes, I sort of like this one. And not because of, like, the weird things that happen with the main protagonist and stuff, but in my opinion, I think it's just really funny, okay? That's the reason why I want to have it, just for, like, the humor. But besides that, those are, like, all the anime stuff that I want to have. Now, for those of you who know, like, my concert collections that I have, whether if it's like Hatsune Miku or Hololive, I still want to expand more on that. For example, Hatsune Miku Magical Mirai 2023, as well as the Miku Symphony, and the 10th anniversary of the Magical Mirai series. That would be great to have in my collection. As well as for Hololive stuff, it would be the Hololive Holo Fest, which is Link Your Wish, the third one, and Our Bright Parade, which is the more recent one. I wish I could also have the Hololive English performance as well, but for now, it's sort of out of stock at the moment, but I also wish I could have that. So if I were to add that, that would also be here on this list. But moving on from those, I would love to complete my Thomas the Tank Engine Classic Series US DVD set. Anything that was from seasons 1 through season 7, I'd love to own a collection of. For those of you who know, it'd be like a picture of one of the engines, and then on the bottom would like be a scene from like one of the episodes featured in the actual DVD. Those are the ones that I wish I could have, as well as like, Best of Percy, Best of James, because I don't have those. And for those of you who've actually seen like the more recent Power Rangers ranking, when I did the tier list of the Power Rangers stuff, I actually want to like purchase all the Power Rangers DVDs so that I could have that in my collection as well. Because as I said before, my brother was a huge fan of Power Rangers back in the day. And it was sort of like on the sideline for me. But I sort of like want to delve myself into it more and learn more about the Power Ranger series. And instead of like, like doing the theme songs and like watching the cool morphing sequences, I actually like want to like dive into it, maybe do like a deeper analysis of each of the Power Ranger series in general, which is why it'd be pretty cool if I could have all of the DVD sets so that I can watch it in my own time, and then hopefully one day in the future like give a review of like my take on the respective Power Ranger series. So I'm not like biased to like say Lightspeed Rescue or whatsoever, because that's the one I'm like familiarized with the most. Moving on. So I have audio CDs as well. So only in like 2 of these in general, but these are actually pretty much unique in its own way. So, of course, I have Hatsune Miku Project Diva audio CDs in general. I'd love to own like all of those different CDs as well, especially if like, I think there's one where it's literally Hatsune Miku Project Diva Future Tone, and they have like a mega compilation of all the songs in the game. They have like 250 plus, I believe. And if I were to have that in my collection, I love it. Another one, I know a lot of you guys aren't familiar with this, but if you guys are familiar with like DDR or Konami in general, you might be familiarized with this band name, or band names, I should say. Because one is called Hinabita. The other one is called Kokonatsu. So for those of you who are familiar with this, the only reason why I want this is because, like, of course I play DDR and stuff, but I actually adore their music. Like, I've listened to some of them on YouTube and stuff, as well as the arcade, obviously, and playing them on DDR and stuff. But if I were to have, like, my own soundtrack to listen to in my own spare time, that would be pretty sick. Like, for those of you guys who sort of want an idea, type Neko Neko, and then afterwards put Hinabita. You'll understand what I mean. Neko Neko, that's a really fun one. There's one called Chikupa. So, CHIKUPA. I hope that's right. Again, put Hinabita after that. HINABITA. One of my favorites involving both of the groups together is called Chocolate Smile. For the other side, Kokonatsu. One of the more popular songs, and one of my favorites too, is called Mirai Prism, which is really fun. And Luminous Days. Really catchy song, especially during the holiday season. You'll understand why. Otherwise, they do like their own EDM remixes as well of certain songs, and I think those are straight up bangers as well. So if you get a chance to listen to those as well, highly check them out. They're really nice. I'll also link them in the description down below, but if you want to search on your own, they will be something that to listen to, other than like, Vocaloid or like any other like J-pop stuff. These guys, in my opinion, are sort of underrated, and I think they deserve a little more love, in my opinion. So moving on from like all the technological equipment that I mentioned in the beginning, the reason why I sort of want to expand more into streaming is because Me and Caspen eventually want to become VTubers one day, and I want to have like my own VTuber setup as well. So like I want to have my own model, and I want to have like specific programs to use the VTuber model for. Hence why I mentioned the green screen thing, so that in case if I'm doing like VR or like whatsoever, I can immerse myself in the 3D atmosphere or whatsoever. Maybe I could do like 3D streams of like maybe like karaoke, like maybe singing on stage or whatsoever. But time will tell. I know I complained about this a lot in the past, but at the same time too, I just do this because of my love for Hatsune Miku. And for those of you who don't know, it's the Hatsune Miku Expo 2024. Now I know I mentioned all the stuff that I absolutely despised about it, especially that, you know, it's not a hologram and it's on an LED, but at the same time too, I just do it because I love Hatsune Miku. I want to see her perform. I want to see her live again. Hearing it in person, it just feels unique and it feels more touching compared to listening on your own. And plus being with like excited fans, holding up their glow sticks, chanting along with Miku during the songs. It's such a fun experience. I mean, I've done it in 2016. I wish I could do it again. And plus, the tickets nowadays are way too expensive, so I'm not purchasing tickets. So sadly, I can't go this year, so that sort of bums my birthday out. But it's okay, because I have other things to look forward to. One of the other things that I wish I could also have, these are currently sold out at the moment, but I love to own these. Besides an Arcade1Up Ridge Racer, is a StepmaniaX machine. So for those of you guys who don't know, it's sort of like Dance Dance Revolution and In the Groove, but what makes it unique is that it combines both Dance Dance Revolution and In the Groove, as well as, if you know the game Pump It Up, where it features the 5 panels. It features like some of those songs in that game as well. If I were to own my own dedicated cab, I would love to do so. And a final one that I really want to do in the future, maybe not this year, maybe down the line, whether if it's with Caspen or if it's my own future family or even by myself, you never know. It's a trip to Japan, specifically in Akihabara and Sapporo, because these are the two locations that I really want to visit. If I go with my mom, though, she wants to hit up Kobe, Japan. For Sapporo, it's because of Hatsune Miku. She was from there in the beginning, so it'd be nice to like know her origins and stuff. And like going in Sapporo, that'd be pretty nice. And then Akihabara, it's like anime central in general when it comes to Japan. So yeah, all the media content, I hate Akihabara, hands down. But all of those are like the stuff that I could actually like purchase or like eventually get in the future. And now I want to move on to what I call my dream wish list, which is stuff that's not purchasable but could eventually happen. You'll understand the reason why when I mention this. For example, for like Blu Rays, like right now they don't have this, but I think it's probably in production right now or probably being sold real soon. But it's the season 1 of 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You for Blu Ray. I really like this anime, and as well as hopefully to get the manga set in the future. That would be pretty nice. Okay, for video games, these are like for future sequels that I want to hopefully receive in the future. For example, Ridge Racer. Like I mentioned, one of my favorite video games of all time. The more recent one that they released was Ridge Racer Unbounded. And I know that they released like stuff for like phones and tablets or whatsoever, but I don't count those. So if I'm not mistaken, Ridge Racer Unbounded was the most recent release when it came to the Ridge Racer series. But in my opinion, that stopped on Ridge Racer 7 on the PlayStation 3. I wish they kept going with it, but I don't know. It's up to Bandai Namco, and I really hope they eventually bring the series back. But at the same time, too, I could dream. Another one that I really hope they bring back is Twisted Metal. Have their own version of Twisted Metal, more updated with more characters to go along with it. Or what I'm planning on doing in the future, including the Ridge Racer video game is that I want to talk about my own video game concepts about a future Ridge Racer or Twisted Metal and give you guys my take on at least like the characters, not like, you know, like the races or whatsoever, or like the designs of the battle tracks in Twisted Metal, but like the concepts that I have for the game, as well as all the characters you could play with or the vehicles you could select in Ridge Racer, Twisted Metal, whatsoever. That'd be pretty sick. But besides the point, another one that I sort of wish that could happen is that one of my favorite visual novels besides Nekopara is Princess Evangel. I think it's probably my favorite visual novel of all time. Yes, I love PowerPoint games, don't judge me. Because this was released for like PC only. I believe they also sold it for like the PlayStation Portable, but it was only specifically for Japan. But I sort of wish they did a Nintendo Switch release for Princess Evangel as well as Double Happiness. If I were to have those in my collection, that would be really cool. So more like expand on it too, because I have my Tetsu and I have If My Heart Had Wings. If I could include Princess Evangel in that list too, that would be really cool. Another one that I really wish that could happen in the future, and I think it could probably happen, because from where I live in Illinois, they're making the Bears Stadium. I don't know how long that's going to take, but eventually, WrestleMania tickets in Chicago. That would be great to see WrestleMania live in person. For me and my brother, we weren't fans of WWE until like mid 2009, so we were, you know, late for that. But at the same time too, it'd be fun to experience a WrestleMania with friends and family, and to take in that atmosphere of how it feels like to be at WrestleMania, you know, our Super Bowl when it comes to wrestling. And I think, honestly, I saved the best for last. Because remember how I said in the beginning that I mentioned that instead of like spending money on like things that I wish I could have, I'd rather be humble and have like things that I could like make other people happy other than myself. And this is something that I really hope for in the future, and it's reuniting with old friends, specifically my old crush. I know I mentioned in the past that I sort of had feelings for her ever since she left me back in 2014, but around the time like I started like developing like more feelings for her up until like 2020, when I realized that I think I may be overthinking myself, and like I should probably detach myself from her so that I could like focus on myself and she could focus on herself. So that's what I did, and because of that, I sort of found myself happier now. So, but the reason why I said this is because it's not that like, you know, I wish I could like be with her or whatsoever. Secretly, yes, I hope so, but that's not my main priority. It's so that I could like, you know, like see how she's doing, and like, is she like happy and content with her life as well. Because quick story, so like I said, she left in 2014 with her family, and in October 5th of this year would mark the 10-year anniversary of her departure from us here. So throughout that time, I would message her, and she would be like in different locations. Like when she first left with her family, they went to Brazil. And then afterwards, they went to the Philippines and then back to Brazil. And then now they're in the States. I don't want to mention where because I don't want to give her away. But I would, you know, like chat with her, have fun with her. Like sometimes, especially during like the pandemic era, before I started like realizing like my true feelings about it, we would go on like virtual quote unquote like video nights where we just stream like YouTube videos together, and you know, like have fun with each other, discuss about like how things are going for her, how things are going for me. And then things started like slowly drifting apart, but I'm like consistently messaging her, hey, are you there? Are you free? Can we chat? And it's either responded with one, complete silence. Even for months, I haven't received a word back. Or two, she would respond something like, oh, I'm doing well. The family's okay. Sorry I haven't responded in a while. I'm busy with school. If my dumb self didn't catch up on that, I felt like I would have known that from the beginning. But at the same time, too, she's my friend. Yes, I still had feelings for her, but at the same time, too, she means so much to me, too, because back in the day, she brought me so much happiness. Hence, she was also a reason why I'm still happy in my life today, because I don't know if she knows about this, but she technically, saved my life in, a weird way. Because, at the same time, too, before then, I was, 30 pounds heavier. I felt more sadder, but she was a bundle of joy to me. She legit brought me so much happiness, and I could, joke with her, be friends with her. She brought me so much happiness. Like, again, this was 10 years ago, but at the same time, too, our relationship was about, 3 years, right? As friends. We were doing things together because her family and my family treated each other as, one big family in general. And so I treated her as, my own little sister. So, I'd, pick on her, I bully her, as an older brother. But at the same time, too, I'm very supportive. Anytime she needs help with something, I'm always there for her. So that's sort of the way how I saw it as well. And I think that's the way how she saw it in me too. But of course, afterwards, I started to have feelings for her, but that's besides the point. So hopefully in the future one day, whether it be this year or any other year in the future, even if it's 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, I could reunite with you. I don't even care if you have a boyfriend. I just want to say hi to you. I miss you. And I love you as a friend. I know you might find it weird, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I miss you. I really miss you. And honestly, I hope you're doing okay. If you're watching this, I'm thankful for you. I'm very thankful for you. You may not know it, but you really are. I know we haven't kept in touch for the past, I think 2 years. And I know I haven't sent you a message. You haven't sent me a message. The reason why is because I'm afraid to speak with you. It's just hard for me because, I'm introverted and it's hard for me to talk to girls. So, and I really saw you as my little sister, and I really hope that we could reunite together again and, maybe just spend a day together just to hang out, just to talk about how things are. I really want to know how you're doing with your family. I know this is sort of like a confession, but it sort of lingers in my heart, and I sort of want to get it out there. So if you're watching, again, I'm thankful for you and your family, but I hope that we could see each other not only through messages or whatsoever, or even if it's video, recording ourselves, video, seeing each other that way. I want to see each other face to face again. How have you been over the past 10 years? I know I could do this myself in the future. Even now, because I'm at that age for it. But I'm just afraid to speak with you. I don't know how to approach you anymore. This is one of my only ways. And I know this part of the video is long, but I hope we could see each other again. I really hope so. For those of you guys who watch this confession of mine, I thank you too. I sort of needed that. It's sort of like my own little therapy for myself, but at the same time too, that's sort of it for what I have for my birthday present wish list. So all the physical things, all the things that I want in my heart. But at the same time too, for all the things that I mentioned, I'll be linking them in the description. So if you want to see like what items that I actually sort of want to get for myself physically, I know I didn't list all of them, but it's the ones that I could actually find. Thank you for joining me in my video today. I know it's like sort of like hard for me to like get things out, but at the same time too, I'm still happy nonetheless. Because again, I get to spend time with friends and family, even if I'm just by myself. Well, not really, and you'll see the reason why. But yeah, that's it for me in regards to all my wishlist stuff. So if you're ready for the behind the scenes stuff, I'm going to grab that camera and I'm going to show you guys my updated shelf. As I mentioned that I updated my shelf here, so this shelf is completely different from beforehand. So like I mentioned before, all of my Mario Kart Hot Wheels figures are all right here. So all the gliders or whatsoever, now they're being shoved in the back. I know they can't be displayed, so it's why you only like see this portion on camera. But here, this is what I like to call the Ridge Racer shelf. And the thing is, I'm planning on expanding this because in the front here are all the cover cars or like the main vehicles or machines as the game would call. What they would be represented as in their own Ridge Racer titles. And in the back here are what they call special machines or the boss vehicles of the game. So these would be used to be like dueling so that you verse them like one-on-one or like other special occasions when it comes to the game. But these are the ones in front here that you would see on like Ridge Racer titles. Like for example, this one is on the original Ridge Racer. This one's on the PSP. This one's on Ridge Racer Type 4. This one's on Ridge Racers 5 for the PlayStation 2. This one's on Ridge Racer Vita. This one's on Ridge Racer DS. This one actually isn't in the cover of any Ridge Racer game, but it's popularized on the original Ridge Racer game. This one is on Ridge Racer Unbound. Oh wait, no, actually no. This is from Ridge Racer PSP, I should say. It's not on the front cover, but it's in the opening title of the movie. This one is in Ridge Racer 7, and this one is Ridge Racer Unbounded. So that's pretty unique to add to the collection as well. And I'm actually getting more. So it's the reason why I'm planning on moving all the special machines or the main title, the front cars, and moving it over to this shelf here. So I'm moving Twisted Metal over on this shelf while combining these two shelves together for like the smaller vehicular combat games, if that makes sense. So that I can include more Ridge Racer stuff here. Because currently, this is my go-to favorite racing game besides Mario Kart, obviously. So that's not the only thing. I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to introduce you guys to two new members of the family. Even though it's been a while since you guys seen this. Here's our old setup right here. But inside Buddy's cage, two new members of the family. So I told myself that I'd always remain as a bird person, and I kept true to my promise. So, hi. Yeah, these two are a little shy. They're still trying to get used to the family, but at the same time too, I want to keep Buddy's legacy going on by remaining as a bird person. So here, this one I named Icy. And this one, his name is Coolio. So if you get my gist, it's Icy Cool. So it's my wrestling name combined if you've seen the wrestling video. But yeah, so these two are also my little bundles of joy besides the puppies. So, and that's it for me, guys. Bye, guys. Peace. And as a purple dinosaur once said,